Good morning. I have something very special planned this morning. My wife and I are going on a whale watching tour, and I'm going to be using the Fuji teleconverter, the 1.4 times version. Now this is really the first time that I'm using it. I've tested it a little bit on a couple of instances on this trip so far, but today I'm really going to be using it because I think the whales are going to be just far enough where that 50 to 140 is not going to be good enough. And that means that by adding this 1.4 teleconverter, I'm going to make that lens an equivalent to something like probably around like a 100 to 300. So being able, on a full frame equivalent. So being able to get that 300 millimeter equivalent on a Fuji is going to be great, trying to get that reach and compression around the whales. So I'm going to kind of bring you along, show you exactly what photos I'm making, hopefully see some whales and have a good time, and then we'll afterwards talk about the teleconverter a little bit more and what I think about its performance. So I am back from whale watching, and I wanted to talk about why I think this teleconverter is perfect for renting. Now, this has done exactly what I needed it to do in this scenario. I have the 50 to 140, which is equivalent to about a 70 to 200, right, on a full frame. In this scenario, the whales, especially here in Hawaii, are a little bit too far from being able to get a good photo with this focal length all the way out at 140. That's because they have a couple of rules here around the boats not being able to approach the whales within a certain distance. So that means that they're just a little too far to really get a great photo. Now, I could crop afterwards, but I'm not going to get the full resolution that I want. So by taking this little teleconverter, this is just that piece there, and popping it on the back of this 50 to 140, if I can get that back on there, there we go. Now I put that on my Fuji X-T3, and now I've extended that by 1.4. So it takes that 140, times it by 1.4, and extends that focal length. And then I was able to get some great photos of those whales. The only trade-off to consider is that it does also adjust your aperture. So instead of it being a 2.8, it is now an f4. I'm out in Hawaii, it's sunny, it's bright, that was great. I was not having any sort of issues with the amount of light that I needed to let in. But I don't think this is something that everybody needs to have in their bag at all times. This is a pretty unique device and kind of piece of gear that, you know, you don't need to use every single day. So to me, this is something that I will continue to look at renting. That's what I did here. I'll be sending this back when I get home, and it was perfect for that. So I chose to rent this from borrowlenses.com. This is not sponsored or anything. That's where I chose to rent it from, and it worked great experience. So check them out. I'll put a link in the description, not affiliate revenue or anything like that, just truly a link in the description. that is my quick review. Hope you enjoyed some of the footage and the photos of those whales out on the water here in Hawaii. Until next time, I'm gonna go make something. I hope you do too.